What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right. Before I get into this video, I want to remind you guys, as always, if you want to show love to this channel, if you choose to, you can do so in the link in the description box. Now, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, or maybe, about a couple weeks ago, I told you guys that Vince Carter announced his intention on returning for what would be a record-breaking 22nd NBA season. Well, today on ESPN's The Jump, he announced that this upcoming season, the 2019-20 NBA season, will be his final NBA season. Vince Carter has been around for so long now that it's going to be, well, interesting to not have him as an NBA player anymore, but at the same time, Vince Carter has been kind of off the radar for so long that it won't be that big a transition for many NBA fans for him to not be a player. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, Kevin Garnett, who played 21 years, Dirk Nowitzki, who played 21 years, just retired, uh, Robert Parrish, all right. Uh, Kevin Willis was a little bit lower on the radar. You know, if you want to include the ABA, Moses Malone played 21 years too. He debuted with, I believe, was the Utah Stars in the ABA in 1974. Then transitioned to the NBA, the Houston Rockets. Uh, then, of course, he played for Philly. Then later on, he had stints with the Hawks, the Bucks, the Spurs, Philly. Might be leaving the team out. But eventually, he retired in '95, so it's 21 years. But anyway, the point being, all those guys were sort of still like, for the most part of their careers, were visually, um, if this doesn't make sense to you, visually relevant. Basically, like, even if they were on a decline, they were on teams that were playoff contenders, or they were still in the news, or what have you. They were players who were vocal and were good with the press and were able to keep themselves relevant, made guest appearances. Like Paul Pierce, even though the last couple of years he played on bad teams, he still would be an NBA contributor on ESPN or what have you. You see what I'm saying? Vince Carter kind of has been off the radar for so long that you kind of forget this guy was once being groomed to be the face of the NBA. Like, younger fans probably be like, man, what? That dude? That bum? Like, nah, this dude want a bum, man. As great as Vince Carter is, and he will be a Hall of Famer, but he's going to be on that lower tier. Like, he's going to be like a little bit ahead of guys like Mitch Richmond, but probably still seen maybe on the same level as Tracy McGrady, I guess. But he should have been up there with like the Kobe's. Vince Carter just did not have the same drive to be great and to and to push his game to the next level as other guys. Like, a lot of people still never forgave Vince Carter when he gave an interview where he admitted that there were times where he just didn't play hard when he was playing with the Toronto Raptors. A lot of people like looked at Vince Carter a certain way after that. Um, but yeah, man, Vince Carter at one point in time, like 1999, 2000, Vince Carter was into 2001. Vince Carter was looked at as the next big thing, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. There were other stars in the NBA. You had an emerging Kobe Bryant. His cousin Tracy McGrady was still out there. Grant Hill was still on the scene, but he had just suffered his injury, after 2000. So you didn't know whatever was going to go with that. You had Allen Iverson, who probably was the bigger cultural icon, probably the biggest star, especially with younger fans at that time. But I don't think he was as marketable for the older NBA crowd, which the NBA was getting to lose after Mike and Drexler and Barkley and all those guys started retiring. So Vince was that guy that they were trying to market, but Vince, I mean, he could dunk. He was exciting when he dunked, um, but his game just wasn't on the level of a Michael Jordan. And I remember Michael Jordan once said, famously or infamously, how you look at it, that Vince didn't play defense. Um, but there were similarities. They both were like 6'6" swingman slash shooting guards. Jordan was more shooting guard. Um, both came from North Carolina. Both were athletic. Both had insane vertical leaps. Some people think Vince Carter was more athletic. I think Vince in his prime had like a 43-inch vertical leap. I think Mike in his prime had you see different figures, 44, 46, 48 inches. Usually I see the 48-inch vertical leap in his prime. And in fact, I think the highest vertical leap officially recorded by the NBA with NBA players was Daryl Griffith and Mike with 48-inch vertical leaps. Yeah, Dr. Duncanstein could really get up, man. But that's it. Their personalities, the drive to win, the killer instinct, all of that shit was missing from Vince. And people started quickly picking up on the fact that it was Kobe Bryant that had all of those intangibles and not Vince. And Vince was still seen as one of the brightest stars, but the focus as far as the creme de la creme was shifting to Kobe Bryant. And, Vince still stayed a relevant star, but he was no longer seen as the type of guy that's going to be able to, number one, put a franchise on his back and carry you to the promised land and be that leader, that alpha male, lead dog type personality. And like I said, even when he was playing with the Nets, he was still a guy that could score. He still was a great contributor. He still would get you 24, 25 points per game, but eventually he started tiring of the dunk thing. Like he started shying away from dunking as much, and I know some of that had to do with some injuries he started getting, but he started just focusing on being more of a all-around basketball player, and started focusing less on athleticism and more on being a complete overall player, which made him a little bit less exciting to watch. But at the same time, as you can see, as a testament to the fact that he's still playing, it greatly increased his longevity. You know what I'm saying? To the point where I got to see how many games this guy's played. Look some up right quick, y'all. How many games has Vince Carter played? I know the record is 1,611 by Robert Parrish. And I think number 2 is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 1,560. Let me see how many games he's played. Wow. Vince has played in 1,481 games. That's got to be top 5. Let me see something. NBA most games played career. I know the most games played in a season was 88 by Walt Bellamy. How that happened? Flukes of trades. Got traded during a season. I can't remember what season it was. It might have been the 61, 62 season or somewhere in the mid-60s. And that team had played like so many more games than other teams. And he ended up... But anyway, yeah, Vince right now is number 5 all time. 1,481 games. Just past Karl Malone. And if he plays another season, let's say he played 76 games last year, so let's say he just plays 70 games, he would pass John Stockton, Dirk Nowitzki, and he would finish just shy of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's a lot of fucking games, man. 1,481 games. Man. But shout out to him, man. Extremely, durable player. That's going to be his legacy. I mean, the most arguably the most durable NBA player in history. A record, if he comes back, if the team does sign him, it'll be his 22nd season breaking the record with the other guys I mentioned. He'll probably have played in well over 1,500 games. Look at his career points. His career averages are suffering because of the fact that he's been playing so long after his prime. So his career averages are really going down. I see his career average is only 17 points per game, and he has 25,430 points. Just trying to see something here. I don't see him really pass anybody significant in points, but the thing about it, anyway, what do you guys think about this, man? I think it's time. You know what I'm saying? As great as Vince Carter's been, some great points have been made to the point where, look, Vince, you'll be 43 years old at the end of next season. I think you'll be the second oldest player ever, or the third oldest. I think Kevin Willis was 44 when he played his last NBA game. I think Robert Parrish was just shy of 44. So you'll be the third oldest player in the history of the NBA. Yeah, it's time. Some young guys got to come in, man. You're taking up some spot, you're taking up space to an extent. After a certain period of time, you're taking up a little space. So, tell me what you guys think about this.